I was walking down the hallway. I heard a noise. I turned and thought I saw something. But I don't think I saw something. I don't know. But it was really spooky.
Before I started doing my October reviews, I asked for recommendations. One of the movies that was recommended to me was Lake Mungo. I looked up information about it and it sounded very intriguing. Being a movie done in a mockumentary style about a ghost sounded really cool to me. And then I watched it. And I've seen some bad horror movies in my life. I've seen Nightmare 5, I've seen Halloween 6. Hell, I've seen Plan 9 from Outer Space. Nothing prepared me for this movie. It might be one of the worst horror movies I've ever seen in my life. Let's break it down. The plot is there isn't much of a plot. Essentially, it's about a girl who dies, and then her family starts seeing her ghost. The ghost doesn't, cause any poltergeist activity or anything really creepy. Just, they can see her around. That's the plot. After that, it's just spoilers that aren't even really spoilers. You just learn a little bit more about the girl's life, and then the movie ends. Guess we'll move on to the acting, which is terrible because it is. The father is the most wooden actor I think I've seen since. To have an idea of how bad his acting is, he's like a passionless Neil Breen. It's that level of acting here, people. The wife is fine. June's actress is fine. She's passable. The actress for Alice, the dead girl, who is seen in archived footage, is fine. Most people go to fine, but some of them are just flat and terrible. The police officer lady is terrible. Some of the other random, friends of the family are not particularly good. They got some of the worst actors in Australia in order to try to make this seem realistic, and it really feels so flat. If you're talking about your dead daughter, show some damn emotion, would you? The only person who I can kind of let that slide with is the psychic character, Ray, who should be a little more dispassionate because he's not really connected to all this. He's just a radio psychic and has weird psychic vision dreams with people. I'm not quite sure how that all works, but fine. It's supposed to be spooky or something. I don't get it. Thankfully, the music is pretty good. The music and sound design I like. It has the spooky music when you need the spooky music. The audio is actually designed in a way where when it's a camera, it has the mic on the camera. It doesn't sound like everyone has, a lapel mic or there's a boom mic picking everybody up. So because of that, it works really well for making this feel like authentic video footage. And I do appreciate that, although it does make some of the scenes that are recorded on a cell phone or something like that really hard to understand. But that's fine. It works for the type of movie it is. Now let's talk about the flaws. And there are a lot. In fact, I'm going to say it right now. Joel Anderson, you're a hack, and I'm glad you haven't made another movie after this, because you're a talentless loser who should not be allowed to make movies. The story is so slow and so boring, we gave up on this movie. I watched this with my family, and we gave up on it. We had to decide to go back and finish this movie to see if it actually gets spooky. Spoiler, it doesn't. The acting is flat. The movie cuts between segments in a really abrupt and odd way that doesn't flow naturally. Joel Anderson does not understand the language of film, and it is jarring sometimes. Also, the zoom ins on the ghost in the little corner of the picture is super lame and not scary and not anything. It's just, there's kind of a thing there in the corner of the picture. That's spooky, I guess. There was no scary parts of this movie aside from one scene at about an hour and 10 minutes in, which kind of gave me some spine tingles. Everything else was a boring slog to get through. The acting is horrible. The directing is horrible. This is a terrible way to waste an hour and 27 minutes of your life. If my anger hasn't already informed you of what my final verdict is, then let me inform you. Do not watch this movie. I won't say not recommended. What I will say is avoid this at all costs. Don't waste your life watching this piece of trash. There's better horror movies out there. And if you need to watch something about video footage about a spooky ghost, there's 20 freaking Paranormal Activity movies and Paranormal Activity knockoff movies that you could watch instead. Or better yet, watch a good movie. There's plenty of good horror movies. I reviewed some of them last month. This movie was a drag, and it's terrible. There's nothing scary about this movie. It is not haunting. It's not jarring. It's not fear-inducing. It's boring and poorly done. The good news is, I never have to watch this movie again. I'm going to go watch a good movie. And you know what? You should too. But before that, if you could like and subscribe, leave a comment on what you thought of Lake Mungo in the comments. That would be great, because it only takes a few minutes for you, but it really helps small channels like mine. Until next time, remember, I'll see you at the tavern, probably drinking because of this terrible movie.